1950s in America marked a golden age of childhood, characterized by a booming economy, suburban expansion, and a surge in consumer goods targeted at kids. This decade saw a unique blend of traditional pastimes and innovative toys that would shape the memories of a generation. Hula hoops took the nation by storm in the late 1950s. Introduced by Wham-O in 1958, this simple plastic ring became an overnight sensation. Children across the country spent countless hours trying to master the hip-swiveling technique required to keep the hoop spinning. Baseball cards emerged as a cultural phenomenon during this era. Kids eagerly collected and traded these cardboard treasures, often attaching them to bicycle spokes to create a distinctive clicking sound as they rode. The cards served as both a hobby and a way to connect with America's favorite pastime. One-speed bicycles represented freedom and adventure for 1950s children. These sturdy, no-frills bikes were a common sight on neighborhood streets, allowing kids to explore their expanding suburban landscapes and meet up with friends for impromptu games and activities. Yo-yos experienced a resurgence in popularity during the 1950s. Children practiced tricks like walk the dog and around the world, turning sidewalks and playgrounds into stages for their growing skills. Yo-yo competitions became common events in schools and community centers. Marbles remained a beloved game throughout the decade. Kids would gather to play various marble games, with keepsies matches often resulting in heated competition as players vied to win each other's prize shooters and cat's eyes. Roller skating gained immense popularity in the 1950s. Sidewalks and newly paved driveways became impromptu rinks where children practiced their skills. Roller rinks also flourished, offering a social venue for older kids and teens to gather, skate, and listen to the latest rock and roll hits. Comic books provided endless entertainment for 1950s youth. Superheroes, science fiction, and horror comics captivated young readers, sparking their imaginations and sometimes courting controversy among concerned parents and educators. Pogo sticks challenged kids to test their balance and endurance. These bouncing contraptions became a common sight in backyards and on sidewalks, as children competed to see who could hop the furthest or perform the most consecutive jumps. Slinky, the simple yet mesmerizing coiled spring toy, continued its popularity from its 1940s introduction. Children delighted in watching it walk downstairs, creating shapes and finding new ways to play with this ingenious invention. Board games experienced a surge in popularity during the 1950s. Families gathered around kitchen tables to play classics like Monopoly and Scrabble, as well as newcomers like Clue and Risk, fostering a sense of togetherness and friendly competition. Jump rope games were a staple of playground fun. Girls, in particular, engaged in elaborate routines involving rhymes and songs, showcasing both athletic skill and social bonding. Double Dutch became increasingly popular, requiring teamwork and coordination. Toy guns and cowboy gear reflected the era's fascination with Western themes. Kids eagerly donned cowboy hats, strapped on holsters, and engaged in imaginary showdowns, inspired by popular TV shows and movies of the time. Erector sets challenged young engineers to build complex structures and simple machines. These metal construction toys fostered creativity and problem-solving skills, often leading to hours of focused play and impressive creations. Paper dolls provided endless entertainment, especially for girls. These inexpensive toys allowed children to create elaborate stories and scenarios, changing outfits and accessories to suit their imaginative play. Jacks, a game with ancient roots, remained popular throughout the 1950s. This simple game of dexterity and timing was often played on school playgrounds and front porches, requiring nothing more than a small rubber ball and a set of metal jacks. Kites soared in popularity during this decade. Children eagerly awaited windy days to launch their colorful creations into the sky, often engaging in friendly competitions to see whose kite could fly the highest or perform the most impressive aerial maneuvers. Play-Doh, introduced in the mid-1950s, quickly became a favorite among younger children. This moldable, colorful compound allowed kids to sculpt and create, fostering artistic expression and fine motor skills development. Coonskin caps, popularized by the Davy Crockett craze, became must-have accessories for many young boys. These faux fur hats symbolized a romanticized vision of frontier life and added an element of adventure to everyday play. Hoop and stick, a game with centuries-old roots, continued to be played in the 1950s, especially in rural areas. Children would guide a wooden or metal hoop using a stick, racing each other or navigating obstacle courses. Bubble gum provided more than just a sweet treat. Kids would hold bubble-blowing contests, seeing who could create the largest bubble without it popping. Trading bubblegum cards, which featured everything from baseball players to movie stars, was also a popular pastime. Radio flyer wagons served multiple purposes in 1950s childhood. These sturdy red wagons could be anything from a race car to a covered wagon in imaginative play, while also providing practical transportation for toys, siblings, or lemonade stand supplies. Tin wind-up toys fascinated children with their mechanical movements. Robots, animals, and vehicles that moved with the turn of a key provided endless amusement, sparking imaginative scenarios and fostering an early interest in how things work. Tiddlywinks, a game involving small discs flipped into a cup, enjoyed popularity among children and families. This simple yet challenging game required skill and strategy, often leading to intense competitions and tournaments. Tree houses and clubhouses became popular projects for enterprising kids. These structures, often cobbled together from scrap wood and salvage materials, provided a private space for children to gather, share secrets, and escape adult supervision. Pea shooters, simple tubes used to propel dried peas or small objects, were a source of mischievous fun. While often discouraged by adults, many children couldn't resist the allure of this primitive projectile toy. Hopscotch grids appeared on sidewalks and playgrounds across America. This game, requiring only chalk and a small stone, provided hours of entertainment as children hopped and jumped their way to victory. Viewmaster stereoscopes offered a window to far-off places and fantasy worlds. Children would eagerly click through reels featuring everything from tourist destinations to cartoon characters, marveling at the 3D effect. Cap guns, with their satisfying pop and tiny whiff of smoke, were essential for playing cowboys and Indians or cops and robbers. These toy weapons, now controversial, were a ubiquitous part of 1950s play. Sock puppets provided a creative outlet for budding performers. Children would transform old socks into colorful characters, putting on shows for family and friends, often inspired by popular TV puppet shows of the era. Marionettes fascinated children with their intricate movements. Puppet theaters, both store-bought and homemade, became stages for elaborate stories and performances, allowing kids to flex their creative muscles. Scavenger hunts were popular group activities, especially at birthday parties and scout meetings. These hunts encouraged exploration, teamwork, and problem-solving as children searched for various objects around their neighborhoods. Balsa wood airplanes delighted young aviation enthusiasts. Kids would spend hours assembling and decorating these lightweight flyers, then test their creations in parks or backyards, competing for distance and accuracy. Lego, introduced in the late 1940s, began gaining popularity in the 1950s. These interlocking plastic bricks opened up new realms of creative construction, allowing children to build everything from simple houses to complex machines. Roller skate scooters, made by attaching a milk crate to a roller skate, were a popular DIY project. These homemade vehicles provided thrills and spills as kids raced down sidewalks and driveways. Pick-up sticks challenged children's dexterity and patience. This game, requiring players to remove sticks from a pile without disturbing the others, could keep kids quietly engaged for hours. Choir Grouse, a popular playground game, involved one child as the grouse trying to make others laugh while they sang. This simple yet entertaining game fostered creativity and social interaction. Magic tricks and simple illusions captivated many children in the 1950s. Magic kits, often received as gifts, allowed kids to perform for family and friends, cultivating an air of mystery and showmanship. Pennies provided endless entertainment through various games. Whether it was pitching pennies against a wall, playing heads or tails, or trying to drop them into a glass of water, these simple copper coins were a versatile toy. Model train sets, elaborate or simple, were a source of fascination for many children, especially boys. Building landscapes, arranging tracks, and controlling miniature trains provided hours of immersive play, often becoming a hobby that lasted into adulthood. Television emerged as a dominant force in 1950s entertainment, captivating children with a variety of programs. The Mickey Mouse Club debuted in 1955, quickly becoming a cultural phenomenon that had kids rushing home from school to watch. Westerns ruled the airwaves with shows like The Lone Ranger and Hopalong Cassidy, inspiring countless hours of backyard play. Young viewers donned cowboy hats and boots, emulating their small-screen heroes in imaginary Wild West adventures. Family sitcoms such as Leave It to Beaver and Father Knows Best portrayed idealized versions of American family life. These shows not only entertained but also shaped children's perceptions of family dynamics and social norms. Science fiction captured the imaginations of 1950s youth through shows like Captain Video and His Video Rangers. As the space race heated up, these programs fueled dreams of interplanetary travel and encounters with alien life. Puppet shows enjoyed immense popularity on television. Howdy Doody became a cultural icon, with its mix of live actors, puppets, and audience participation setting a new standard for children's entertainment. Variety shows like The Ed Sullivan Show introduced kids to a wide range of entertainment, from comedy sketches to musical performances. Families often gathered around the TV on Sunday nights, making it a shared experience across generations. Comic books experienced a golden age in the 1950s, with superheroes like Superman and Batman continuing their popularity from the previous decade. These colorful publications offered children a world of adventure and moral lessons. EC Comics pushed boundaries with titles like Tales from the Crypt and Weird Science, appealing to older kids and teenagers with their edgy content and twist endings. However, concerns about their influence led to increased scrutiny and eventual self-censorship in the industry. Mad Magazine debuted in 1952, introducing a new form of satirical humor that resonated with young readers. Its irreverent take on popular culture and societal norms provided a counterpoint to the more wholesome entertainment of the era. Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew mystery novels captivated young readers with tales of teenage detectives solving crimes. These books not only entertained but also encouraged critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Drive-in movie theaters boomed in popularity, offering families and teenagers a unique entertainment experience. Kids would often play on swing sets near the screen before the movie started, making it an exciting outing for all ages. Miniature golf courses sprang up across the country, providing a fun, family-friendly activity. Children honed their putting skills while navigating whimsical obstacles, turning a simple game into an adventure. Roller derby gained a following among older kids and teenagers, with televised matches showcasing speed, skill, and theatricality. Some youngsters formed informal leagues, racing around makeshift tracks in parks or empty parking lots. Pinball machines, found in arcades and drugstores, challenged kids' reflexes and timing. Despite occasional controversies and bans, these games remained popular throughout the decade, with players vying for high scores and bragging rights. Sandlot baseball games were a common sight in neighborhoods across America. Without the structure of organized leagues, these impromptu games allowed kids to create their own rules and settle disputes, fostering independence and social skills. Parade participation became a highlight for many children, whether marching with scout troops or decorating bicycles for Independence Day celebrations. These events fostered a sense of community involvement and patriotism. Soapbox derby races captured the spirit of ingenuity and competition. Young builders spent countless hours designing and constructing their gravity-powered racers, dreaming of victory on race day. Backyard camping provided adventure close to home. Armed with flashlights, snacks, and ghost stories, kids would spend nights under the stars, experiencing a taste of the great outdoors within the safety of their own yards. Amateur magic shows became popular among aspiring young performers. Inspired by TV magicians like Mark Wilson, children practiced card tricks and simple illusions, putting on shows for family and friends. Pen pal correspondence opened up worlds beyond local neighborhoods. Through programs and magazine advertisements, kids connected with peers across the country and around the world, exchanging letters and small gifts. Saturday matinees at local movie theaters were a weekly ritual for many children. For a handful of change, kids could enjoy cartoons, newsreels, and feature films, often staying for repeat showings throughout the afternoon. Potato printing emerged as a popular craft activity. Using simple tools and paint, children created colorful designs on paper and fabric, decorating everything from greeting cards to t-shirts. Stickball, an urban adaptation of baseball, flourished in city streets. Using broomsticks and rubber balls, kids transformed busy thoroughfares into ball fields, developing their own rules to navigate around parked cars and fire hydrants. Badminton sets became a common sight in backyards across America. This accessible sport allowed for both casual play and competitive matches, providing hours of entertainment for families and groups of friends. Gyroscopes fascinated children with their seemingly gravity-defying properties. Kids would compete to see who could keep their gyroscope spinning the longest or perform the most impressive tricks. Peggy dolls, with their distinctive ponytails and freckles, became beloved companions for many young girls. These dolls inspired imaginative play and often served as main characters in elaborate storylines. Roller skating took on a new dimension with the popularity of roller disco. Rinks across the country pulsed with music and laughter as kids showcased their moves and socialized with peers. Scrapbooking allowed children to preserve memories and express creativity. Using photos, magazine clippings, and various embellishments, kids chronicled their experiences and interests in personalized albums. Trolley and bus rides became adventures in themselves for city kids. A simple journey across town could turn into an exciting expedition, with children taking mental note of interesting sights and sounds along the route. Obstacle courses constructed from household items challenged kids' agility and imagination. Utilizing everything from cardboard boxes to garden hoses, children created elaborate layouts in backyards and basements. Cereal box prizes added an element of excitement to breakfast time. Kids eagerly dug through their morning cereal, hoping to find decoder rings, plastic figurines, or other small toys that often became prized possessions. Dioramas became popular school projects, allowing children to recreate historical scenes or story settings in shoebox-sized displays. These miniature worlds fostered creativity and attention to detail. Harmonica playing experienced a resurgence, with the small portable instrument appealing to musically inclined kids. Informal harmonica bands formed in neighborhoods, adding a soundtrack to summer evenings. Charades parties provided entertainment for all ages. Children honed their acting skills and nonverbal communication, often incorporating pop culture references from their favorite TV shows and movies. Stamp collecting introduced kids to geography and history through tiny, colorful works of art. Young philatelists traded duplicates and proudly displayed their growing collections in special albums. Knot tying, often learned through scouting programs, became a useful skill and pastime. Children practiced various knots, competing to see who could tie them fastest or create the most intricate designs. Paper airplane competitions took flight in classrooms and backyards. Kids experimented with different folding techniques, aiming for distance, accuracy, or the most acrobatic aerial displays. Paint-by-number kits allowed children to create impressive artwork regardless of natural artistic ability. These kits not only provided a sense of accomplishment but also taught color theory and patience. Marble mazes challenged young engineers to create complex paths using cardboard, toilet paper tubes, and other household items. Building and refining these mazes could occupy children for hours on end. Bubble pipes, producing a steady stream of bubbles with each puff, became popular toys. Kids would chase and pop each other's bubbles, or try to create the biggest bubble possible before it burst. Soapbox oratory in parks and playgrounds allowed politically minded youngsters to voice their opinions. Inspired by adult speakers, children would stand on makeshift platforms, addressing peers on topics ranging from playground rules to current events. Davy Crockett mania swept the nation following Disney's miniseries. Coonskin caps became must-have accessories, with kids reenacting frontier adventures and singing The Ballad of Davy Crockett at every opportunity. Plastic army men sparked imaginative warfare scenarios. Children would create elaborate battlefields in sandboxes or dirt piles, strategizing and narrating epic conflicts that could last for days. Textile painting kits enabled budding artists to personalize clothing and accessories. Using special paints and stencils, kids adorned t-shirts, canvas shoes, and book bags with colorful designs. Lawn darts, known as jarts, provided a thrilling, albeit later deemed dangerous, outdoor activity. Families would spend summer evenings tossing these weighted darts at circular targets, competing for points and bragging rights. Gumball machines fascinated children with their mechanical simplicity and sweet rewards. A penny or nickel could procure not only a treat, but also the excitement of not knowing which color would tumble down. Linoleum-cut printmaking introduced kids to the world of reproducible art. Using simple tools to carve designs into linoleum blocks, children created custom stamps for decorating paper, fabric, and walls. Zeppelin wood construction toys challenged young builders. These sets, consisting of thin wooden slats and metal fasteners, allowed for the creation of large, lightweight structures limited only by imagination and physics. Ouija boards gained popularity as a spooky pastime for sleepovers and parties. While some parents disapproved, many kids were drawn to the mysterious allure of communicating with spirits. Potato sack races at school picnics and community events provided hilarious entertainment. Children hopped awkwardly towards finish lines, learning lessons in balance, perseverance, and good-natured competition. Crystal radio sets intrigued technically minded youngsters. Building these simple receivers from kits or scratch offered an introduction to electronics and the thrill of picking up distant stations. Splatter painting, inspired by abstract expressionists like Jackson Pollock, allowed kids to create eye-catching artwork. Flinging and dripping paint onto canvases or large sheets of paper provided a messy but exhilarating creative outlet. Tin can telephones connected treehouse hideouts and bedroom windows. This simple communication device, made from string and empty cans, fascinated children with its ability to transmit sound over short distances. Charm bracelets became prized possessions for many girls. Each small trinket added to the bracelet told a story, marking special occasions, achievements, or simply reflecting the wearer's interests. Birdhouse building combined craftsmanship with nature appreciation. Kids would construct and decorate simple wooden houses, then watch with anticipation as feathered families moved in. Pogo stick mastery challenged children's balance and endurance. Neighborhood kids would hold contests to see who could hop the longest or navigate obstacle courses without touching the ground. Shadow puppetry entertained families on quiet evenings. Using hands or cut-out figures, children would create stories on walls or sheets, often incorporating sound effects and multiple performers. Bottle cap collecting turned discarded items into treasures. Kids would scour streets and picnic areas for unique caps, trading duplicates and creating artwork or jewelry from their finds. Kool-Aid stands offered young entrepreneurs a taste of business. On hot summer days, children would mix up batches of the powdered drink, selling cups to thirsty neighbors and passers-by. Kazoo bands formed impromptu musical groups. With these simple humming instruments, kids could participate in making music regardless of formal training, often accompanying sing-alongs or creating comical sound effects. Newspaper folding challenges tested dexterity and problem-solving skills. Children competed to create the most stable paper towers or boats, capable of floating with the heaviest cargo. Stilt walking transformed ordinary kids into towering figures. Using homemade stilts crafted from tin cans and rope, children paraded down sidewalks, mastering the art of elevated locomotion. Pressed flower collecting combined outdoor exploration with artistic preservation. Young botanists would carefully arrange and press wildflowers, creating delicate bookmarks or framed displays. Whistle-making from acorn caps or blades of grass showcased natural ingenuity. Kids would spend hours perfecting their technique to produce the loudest or most melodious sounds. Cootie catchers, also known as fortune tellers, provided playground entertainment. These origami-style paper devices offered playful fortunes and decision-making assistance for curious children. Quill pen writing introduced kids to old-fashioned penmanship. Using feathers and ink, children practiced calligraphy and imagined themselves as historical figures drafting important documents. Walkie-talkie communication devices, though often limited in range, opened up new possibilities for neighborhood games. Kids coordinated elaborate plans or simply enjoyed the novelty of remote conversation. Bubblegum blowing contests challenged participants to create the largest bubble without popping. These sticky competitions often ended in laughter and messy faces. Papier-mâché projects allowed for the creation of masks, sculptures, and props. Using strips of newspaper and paste, children brought imaginative creatures and objects to life. Tin can stilts offered a noisy alternative to traditional wooden versions. Kids would punch holes in the sides of large cans, thread rope through for handles, and clatter up and down sidewalks. Squirt gun battles provided welcome relief on hot summer days. Children would engage in elaborate water wars, using stealth and strategy to avoid getting soaked while targeting their opponents. Balsa wood gliders fascinated young aviation enthusiasts. Assembling these delicate aircraft and experimenting with modifications to achieve longer flights occupied hours of creative play. Rock tumbling introduced kids to the world of geology. Patient young rock hounds would load rough stones into motorized tumblers, eagerly checking their progress as the rock slowly transformed into polished gems. Cigar box guitars allowed musically inclined children to create their own instruments. Using empty boxes, broomstick necks, and rubber bands for strings, kids crafted unique sounds and learned basic musical principles. Semaphore flag signaling, often learned through scouting programs, fascinated children with its secret code-like nature. Kids would practice sending messages across yards or parks using colorful flags. Clothespin dolls emerged as a creative craft, transforming ordinary wooden pins into charming characters. Children would use scraps of fabric, yarn, and paint to bring these miniature figures to life. Ice blocking, a simple slide down grassy hills on blocks of ice, provided thrilling summer entertainment. Kids would race to see who could slide the furthest or navigate obstacle courses on their slippery steeds. Kaleidoscope making combined science and art. Using cardboard tubes, mirrors, and colorful beads or glass pieces, children created their own mesmerizing optical toys. Novelty teeth wax allowed for silly facial transformations. Kids would mold the wax over their teeth, creating monstrous or comical expressions to amuse friends and family. Piñata parties added excitement to birthdays and holidays. Children took turns swinging at colorful papier-mâché figures, eagerly anticipating the shower of candy and small toys within. As the 1950s drew to a close, the pastimes and playthings of the decade had left an indelible mark on a generation. These diverse activities, from simple homemade toys to the wonders of early television, shaped the memories and values of those who experienced them. Looking back, the childhood activities of the 1950s reflect a unique moment in American history, a time of optimism, innovation, and simple pleasures. While many of these pastimes have faded into nostalgia, their impact on creativity, social development, and cultural identity continues to resonate, offering valuable insights into the ever-evolving nature of childhood play and entertainment.